Pro-Biafra supporters have been staging protests in the southeast in solidarity with the Biafra radio host Nnamdi Kanu, who has been detained by the Department of State Services. Although the protesters appeared resolute to continue their march, security operatives managed to maintain the barricade, causing many commuters to resort to trekking long distances as a result of the gridlock caused by the face-off. The National Orientation Agency, the NOA, has concluded plans to deploy its officers to aggrieved communities in the southeastern part of the country to sensitize youths on the need to shun Biafra and sustain a united Nigeria. The chief executive of NOA, Mr. Michael Mary, told journalists in Abuja that the state government are in the process of finding solutions to concerns, of course, expressed by pro-Biafra agitators. Let's take a listen.
Fresh calls by protesters in the southeast and parts of the south-south region over the actualization of Biafra have sparked huge concerns over the unity and security of the country. Renowned writer and Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka calls the agitation an idea that cannot be suppressed until fully discussed, while the National Orientation Agency proffers some solution through its planned sensitization program.
Right now, as I'm talking to you, my state directors in the southeast, all of them, have created another strategy that we will deploy to engaging the people at the individual level, at the community level, at the group level, at the workplace level.
The military is warning of serious consequences for anyone who tries to carry out treasonable acts has also drawn attention, but there are still calls for the government to do more to quell the unrest.
Biafra as an issue is not just about the deprivation in the southeast. Whatever is not enough, whatever the indices of poverty are across the country, remains the challenge, it remains the idea. They represent the need for us to look inwards and begin to address some of those challenges that have made our country, denied our country the kind of progress that we have now. All Nigerians created the problem, and Nigerians must find a solution to it. We cannot create the problems, then we begin to walk away. Whom are we leaving behind?
In this position, many Nigerians with the deadly Boko Haram insurgency in their minds know clearly that the security situation in the country is far from over, but stand uncertain as to how new developments like this would eventually be resolved.
To look at the situation a little further, I met with General Samson Odusi, retired, who knows quite a bit about the war fought for the same reason the youths in the East are agitating about for the past weeks. He gave me his thoughts on what direction the youths should be looking.
I want to thank you so much indeed, General Samson Odusi, for coming on State of the Nation.
Thank you very much.
Let's begin by looking at the situation in the East, where some youths have been clamoring and agitating for a sovereign state of Biafra. What do you make of this kind of agitation?
Well, there is a saying in Yoruba, they say, "Omode omo ogun." You know, people don't know what war is all about, especially those who are agitating. You see that even the elderly ones have been cautioning the younger ones. It's not as easy. I'm sure after now, the people from the Northeast, if we hear about war, they will not even want you to pronounce it. Well, this is not, everybody has a grouse. You understand me? And some of these things have been addressed. But I don't think secession. I know it is being used by some elements to arm twist and get things out of the government or something like that. But secession is definitely not the answer. See, when a crisis starts, you might always know the beginning. You will always know. But you don't know when to end. So it's better you don't plunge this nation into... Even those who did it, they saw their mistakes. Everybody lost, both from federal and the Biafran side. But losses were more on a particular side. There's no need, secession is not the answer. You can protest, peaceful protest, and of course some of these things are being addressed. Oh, you are not, I remember there's a particular issue that why is every region 6 states and the southeast region is 5 states. You can make a case. At the national conference, that was the main thing they talked about. Bring us at par with every other region. I hope I'm clear. And that's a peaceful one. But to be talking about, look, I bet you, God forbid if there is any secession. Even if they secede, they are not ever going to agree. There will be a series of secession within secession. That's just it. It's not easy to rule a nation like Nigeria. That we've gone this far, despite all these our differences, the diversity. I think it is to the glory of God. And of course, people should not do anything to truncate, to bring back things we have forgotten. Can you imagine this? If people have, when the Niger Deltans militants were agitating, were they not pacified? There was the amnesty, there was the various program. I read recently, some were, it was on the news. Some people said, I mean, they were in a school, their fees had not been paid. And quickly they came here and said, look, the fees had been paid. It was the process of transaction with all this TSA and all the rest of the stuff. I believe people should learn from such things. Nobody gained from crisis. And of course, it shouldn't take us back. The Biafran War took the Southeast as a region back several years back. They try to, they are recovering, but it cannot be. I don't think secession, either Biafra or any other part, that is not the answer. Let's come back in this union government. And everybody makes his case. Late General Lule said, look, when there was such a move in the Southwest, said, look, stop that, you go to the National Assembly, go and fight your case. Go and make good cases. That is where your reps should go. Talking about it's like more like a cowardly. That was how he put it. It's not the solution. I don't think it will ever solve the problem, because if it comes, if it ever happens, that will just be the beginning.
Will the release of their leaders detained by the DSS, will it bring about peace, for example?
See, the finger that commits offense will be punished. You understand? If the people say, if they say, don't do this, and you consider yourself to law and order, breach of law and order, and the law is taking its course. I said earlier on, you are answerable to your actions. So if they are let them go to court. Go to court, and I believe along the line, if they have a genuine case, the court will set them free. That is the hope of everybody. Now, okay, they want to release their leaders released forcefully now. So another person starts tomorrow. And also the followers will fight and let them just go to court. They don't need to create instability in this country. We are already facing a war in the Northeast. We are talking about Nigeria. Why must there be any distraction? And like I said, it's our war.
Do they have a right, though, to want to have a sovereign state, as they've always clamored for?
Is that in the Constitution?
What are your final words on this?
Let them fight their case legally and rather than in crisis. Why do they want? They shouldn't try to secede. Secession does not pay. That has not paid. It has taken everybody backwards. The Biafran War of 30 months took us, many lives were lost, about 2 million were lost. I did a presentation in a write-up in Staff College when we were trying to write about the military achievement, the military experience. We had a lot of things about the political, about the economy. What about that war? Until Alabi Sama, now we try to talk about this. That look, we wanted to, and I went into records, I went to put a lot of things together to teach these young people. Many of them they've left the army, they've risen to become generals and left the army. It's not easy. About 2 million people died. 2 million. In that time when there was, the people died during the last Hajj were not up to 500,000. But you can see the ground was filled up. So that alone, 2 million into our economy, even if they're just alive, we will say we are 172 million today. I don't think that is the approach to it. I don't think that is the approach. You can go, you can fight your case, continue to, and the leaders are doing that. They keep on talking on those things. There are imbalances here and there. I'm not saying we are perfect, okay? No, there are a lot of imbalances, but then that is why in a civilized organization, let's sit down together and discuss our issue. You understand? With national conference, I think the way it was done, probably maybe if it can be improved upon, let's sit down. From village to village, what are your grounds? In my community, we had lots of problems. Small community, but there are lots of problems. When I was a president recently, we sat there, we called people together. What are your problems? And we saw there was consensus. There was consensus, and they came together. Oh, this man did this to me. This man did. Oh, you have heard what you say your fathers did to him, and so. But in the interest of the community, and we are working together. For many years, we have about 7 Obas. They were never coming, and before then, they were coming together. It has, in those days, about 380 villages. Now there are about 53. They were coming together. But when crisis came in, nobody was good there to listen to one another. Everybody was doing his own. But now they're coming together. It took almost, we took off from where our senior General Gundeka and others started from. And today we are happy. So it's also possible. If we come together, everybody must shut down his pride, shut down, because it's ridiculous. With this number of people, with these resources, and we cannot be respected, we cannot make impacts in the world. It's shameful. And it's because we are never going to agree with one another, which is sad. Secession definitely is not the answer. I bet you that, God forbid, if they secede, there will be a series of other secession. I'm not too sure, when there's a common enemy. When there's a common enemy, the Igbos get together. But when they're on their own, they have differences. They have differences, clan to clan, village to village, and so on. So it's not the answer. It can never solve the problem.
General Samson Odunze, I want to thank you so much indeed for your time and indeed your thoughts.
Thank you very much, Jimba, and thank you for the time you have allotted to me.
Interesting view by the retired general. You tell me what your thoughts are on the subject on my Twitter handle. Where does the story take us next? That's State of the Nation. Join us again.